Hey, what's going on, everybody? Tempers are here, back again with another video. Usually it would take me another 3 or 4 months to make one, but I finally was able to watch the Game Awards last night, and wow, a lot of games announced. Good, very good. The bad side was, I'll tell you in a second, but if you watch the Game Awards, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of awards went to just one game, and a couple games that are just amazing got shafted. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. This video is going to be just a briefing, a debrief of what happened at the Game Awards, and most of it's going to be just me wanting to rant about what the problem is this year with the Game Awards, and just how 2020 has gotten a little bit worse because of it. So first of all, just gonna go do a little rundown of the games that were announced or new trailers that were shown. You may remember a game on the 360. It was probably like right when the 360 came out. We had a game called Perfect Dark Zero, and then we had another one that I can't remember. I think it was Planet something. But this is one of the OG games of the 360 that came out, Perfect Dark Zero. This time it's called Perfect Dark, and it's the same main character. I think I only played the demo of Perfect Dark Zero when it was on the 360, and it was a pretty fun game. It's just like, from what I can remember, it's just a typical first-person shooter game. You kind of play as like a female version of James Bond, if I remember correctly, and they didn't really show much, just that the original character is back and all that stuff, and they gave a little bit of the plot. But yeah, it looks really good. The cinematic looks good. I mean, they're not really going to show any gameplay. They did show like the camera was like panning around of what looked like they're going to be levels of the game or something like that, but we didn't actually see any gameplay of the character moving around and shooting people and all that stuff. But yeah, 10 years since we've seen anything Perfect Dark related, so it's very interesting. And then a game, a trilogy, a franchise that everybody that plays video games knows of is Dragon Age. Is going to be coming out, I think next year or something like that. And usually we had Dragon Age Inquisition or whatever. They usually have some sort of wording that they're going to call Dragon Age, but this time it's just Dragon Age. Nothing, no extra flavors on it. So they showed a trailer of Dragon Age, and of course we're gonna have dragons, and it's just gonna be your typical Dragon Age RPG, where you're gonna be you can play as a mage or a hunter or whatever. And I played a little bit of not the Dragon Age that came out like in 2017, but the one before that. I played a little bit of that, and it was fun, but I couldn't really get into it. It was it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. I think at that time I was still kind of playing Halo and all that, but everyone loves Dragon Age. Everyone that's into Elder Scrolls and Path of Exile and any other RPG games, it's just your standard what you're looking for in an RPG is basically what Dragon Age is. So they show that off, and then probably my favorite thing coming out of the Game Awards is going to be the next Mass Effect game. They showed a teaser trailer. Basically, what happened in it, the trailer starts off, and you're in space, and you can't really see too much. You see just tons and tons of debris, and you hear the first thing you hear is them talking about the Dreadnought. And right when I heard Dreadnought, I was thinking of Mass Effect. And then after that, you could hear you could hear the Reapers. If you've played Mass Effect 3 at least, you know what I'm talking about when I say Reapers. You could hear the sound that they make, and then all of a sudden you're on this planet, this world or whatever, and then this chick is walking, looks like it's like a snowy world, and she's picking up something off the ground, and right when she just wipes the snow off of it, it says N7, which is very relatable to Shepard and Mass Effect. So if I had to guess, like put like $1,000 on it, I'm gonna say that they're gonna be doing it kind of like how the Terminator movies did it, where they just said, you know, what previous Terminator movies? We haven't made a Terminator movie since Terminator 2, I think, and then they just continued off of that. So I think that's what they're gonna be doing with Mass Effect. They're gonna be like pretty much trying to forget Andromeda. Since I mean, I played Andromeda. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't what I got out of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. You know, it wasn't the awesome environment and feeling I got. You know, I thought it was cool that they let you choose, you know, do you want to play as a male or a female and all that stuff. I picked a female just because, you know, that's the character they always showed in the trailer, and I wanted to try something new. Andromeda wasn't a bad game. It was just kind of like a bad Mass Effect game, and it wasn't really comparable to, you know, 1, 2, and 3 of Mass Effect. Speaking of Mass Effect, if you didn't know, they're actually going to be remastering the Mass Effect games 1 through 3, and it's coming out sometime in 2021, which I'm really excited about. Like I will play the shit out of that. I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. I still need to go back and play Mass Effect. I wanted to do a full playthrough of being Renegade, which is, you know, you can be Paragon, you know, good, or you can be Renegade, which is like kind of like an asshole. You're kind of evil or whatever. But anyway, getting back into the trailer. Yeah, so she, you know, wipes off the snow, and it just makes me think, okay, we are starting. This game is going to start off right where Mass Effect 3 ended, where, you know, you save the world, but you sacrifice yourself, and blah blah blah, and then it ends with some grandpa talking to the son and telling him stories. So that's what I think. I don't think they're going to continue from Andromeda. I think they're going to forget Andromeda and start where the third one ended. And in Mass Effect 4, or whatever the heck they're going to call this new Mass Effect game, they're going to, you know, obviously we're going to have a new character, because, you know, we should assume that Shepard's dead. But anyway, it looks awesome. I highly recommend you check out the teaser trailer if you're a Mass Effect fan. It looks just amazing. And then we stepped into the horror genre, which I don't really play horror games. They stress me out. Every time I play a horror game, they stress me out, and I don't like to feel stressed out when I play video games. So what looks to be probably the horror game of the year, possibly for next year, is called the Callisto Protocol. And right when the trailer starts, you get this kind of Dead Space vibe. You know, I thought this was going to be a new Dead Space game. If not Dead Space, I thought it was going to be a new Fear game. But actually, it's something new. It's called the Callisto Protocol. Check out the cinematic trailer. It's this dude. He's like in a sewer or something, and all of a sudden, this monster that looks like it's got, you know, body parts and faces from, you know, 10 different people or animals or whatever, and it's just this freaking abomination thing. And it looks sick for a horror game. But, you know, I'm probably not going to play it. But anyone that's into horror games, check it out. It's definitely horrific. And then we got a trailer for the Elder Scrolls Online Gates of Oblivion. You know, right when I saw the symbol in the trailer, I was like, okay, that's Oblivion. So I don't play Elder Scrolls, but anyone who does, I guess I don't know if it's a DLC or. I don't know too much about Elder Scrolls Online. You know, I know Skyrim. I know they're trying to come out with another Elder Scrolls game that's the sequel or continuation from Skyrim. So I don't know if this is DLC or whatever. The trailer looks awesome. And then we got probably the you know, comic relief or the funniest trailer that we saw. Something that I don't think anybody expected. You know, this trailer starts off, it's in the jungle. People, you know, I thought, oh, okay, it's like another, you know, maybe another League of Legends map, or, you know, I don't know what I thought. Some people thought, you know, Turok when they saw dinosaurs, but it's actually Ark 2. If you don't know what Ark is, it is basically a survival game. It's kind of like Rust, but it's like dinosaurs and prehistoric, and you can have a bunch of different dinosaur pets and blah blah blah. But so the main character, it looks like, is going to be They didn't give a name, but it's actually Vin Diesel. They did a very good job making him show up in the game, with all the facial stuff and stuff that I don't know about. But the trailer is kind of funny, especially with Vin Diesel. Just like he doesn't, it seems a little out of place. I mean, we saw him in a bunch of other movies. I forget what's that movie called where he's on this like dinosaur planet, and he like replaces his own eyes with some like creature's eyes that he can see at nighttime or something. I think it was called Riddick or something. So I mean, he kind of fits in like that, but I don't know. He just looks weird. The animation just looks weird in this trailer, and I don't know. It definitely was not especially in like a survival game. You don't expect to hear, oh, Rust 2's coming out, because it's not like a story game. It's just a completely multiplayer game where you play with your friends and you build stuff and you survive and you go raid other players' bases. So definitely weird for them to come out with a sequel to a survival game. Oh, and then they also announced right after that there's going to be a Ark animated series. So yeah, that's a thing, and I'm probably not going to watch it. And then we got a new map for Among Us, which I know a lot of people play. I've tried to get into it, but I don't have anybody to play with. But so now there's going to be a fourth map called the Airship that is going to be in Among Us, and that's basically it. They just showed the map a little bit, and then a couple other things they showed. They showed that unfortunately Master Chief is going to be coming to Fortnite. I guess you're going to be able to play as Master Chief in Fortnite. I don't know why. I kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit when I saw it. And for any Black Desert Online fans, there's going to be a sequel to it called Crimson Desert. And for any Left 4 Dead fans, there's a game that got shown. It's called Back 4 Blood, which is basically Left 4 Dead 3. And I know a lot of people have been wanting a sequel to Left 4 Dead 2. So yeah, this is pretty much it. The gameplay looks exactly the same. From my understanding, the reason why they're calling it Back 4 Blood instead of Left 4 Dead 3 is because the person that is that's in charge of Back 4 Blood, he came from the company that made Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, and he can't use the name Left 4 Dead 3 because he left the studio. The studio still owns the right to it, so that's why he has to call it Back 4 Blood. Okay, now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of The Last of Us Part 2, which I know a lot of people, including myself, threw up in their mouth when they even hear that at the Game Awards. So yeah, let's just go and talk about the awards that The Last of Us Part 2 won. So, they won Game... Okay. Let's start from the bottom. They won the Game Award for Innovation and Accessibility, the Game Award for Best Game Direction, the Game Award for Best Action Adventure, the Game Award for Best Narrative, the Game Award for Most Anticipated Game. Okay, I'll give them that. It was the most anticipated game. The Game Award for Best Audio Design. I'll give them that. The audio was pretty good. The Game Award for Best Performance in Laura Bailey. If you don't know who Laura Bailey is, she just plays everybody and anyone in video games. If you play Halo 5, if you play the Halo 5 campaign, she plays as I think she plays one of the female Spartans in Blue Team Locke's team. I can't remember their names. No. I think it starts with a V. I don't know. She plays one of the Spartans, and then her husband plays Frederick, which is on Master Chief's team. But she's an amazing actress. She's in tons and tons of video games. Look her up on Wikipedia. You can see all of her stuff. And we're not going to talk about the last award because I'm saving that for the last. So, if you don't know, okay, first of all, I'm going to give you my take on The Last of Us Part 2, right? So, I don't own a PlayStation. So, any games that I do want to play, but I can't because I don't have a PlayStation, I watch them on YouTube. I pick one of my favorite content creators, whether it be Jacksepticeye, or I pick I don't know, somebody else. Maybe I'll pick Shroud, or I'll pick the Rad Brad, or someone where I'm gonna be able to watch the game and get like amazing commentary, or I'll watch Markiplier, right? So I've watched all the cinematics from The Last of Us Part 2, and then I watched people play through it, and it's definitely split down the middle how people feel about The Last of Us Part 2. There's no 4 stars, there's no 3 stars, there's no 2 stars. It's 50%. Actually, it's like, I want to say it's 60% 1 stars and 40% 5 stars. Because when I look at all the reviews, they have a percentage and all that stuff. The bar for the 1s is longer than the bar for the 5s. Even though they say that 58% of the people that play the game like this video game, but I don't know about you, but back in school, a 58% is still a F. We'll give him an F+. Okay? Neil Druckmann, he is the guy behind the story for Last of Us Part 2. He is the one who made the decision to... Spoiler, if you haven't played Last of Us Part 2, go. Goodbye. Okay? I'll give you a few more seconds, right? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Neil Druckmann, he is the one that made the decision to kill Joel right at the beginning of the game, not giving him any chance to fight back. Like, they completely nerfed Joel. They nerfed his brother. And they just killed him right in front of Ellie. And what do they do? What does Neil Druckmann force you to do right after you watch Joel die? By getting hit over the head with a golf club multiple times. He forces you, Neil Druckmann, to play as Abby, who is the person that kills Joel. Right in front of you. Just let that sink in for a little bit. You have to play as the murderer who killed one of everyone's favorite characters in Last of Us Part 2. Did everybody expect Joel to die in Last of Us Part 2? Yes. Me included. Yes. But we expected him to die off 3/4 of the game in, right? Maybe even at the end of the game. He sacrifices himself to save Ellie. Something like that, right? No. He helps these people, Abby including. If you don't know who Abby is the daughter of the surgeon in the first Last of Us that you kill because the surgeon is going to gonna do surgery, brain surgery on Ellie and get some DNA or whatever. It's hard to remember what exactly it was called. The fungus or whatever makes Ellie immune. They're gonna use it to hopefully get a vaccine and use it to form a cure for the virus. And then Joel's like, no, you're not gonna do that. So he shoots the doctor, the surgeon, and kills him. And then in Last of Us Part 2, we find out that, he had a daughter. And his daughter is, obviously mad that her dad is dead, and she's going to find out who killed him. And he's like, Joel killed him. Okay, so now I'm going to kill Joel. And then, so you go back into the past, and you get to play as Abby, and she's young, and her dad's still alive, and you get to play as her, and like hunt with her dad, and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, it does a time skip, and all of a sudden, Abby is like really buff. Like really, really buff. Like buffer than buff. Almost too buff. And I understand why they did that. I understand why they made Abby look the way that she did. And it's to show support for the LGBT QIAP community. And what they did not have to do is there's a sex scene. I think there's only one sex scene in Last of Us Part 2, and it's with Abby and her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, whatever, and it's just horrible. It's like a really horrible sex scene, and I understand why they did it, and exactly what I just said, the LGBT community, but nobody enjoyed the sex scene. Everybody thought it was just so irrelevant. Like, it didn't even have to happen. Why did you show that? Basically, it looked like a man having sex with another man, which there's nothing wrong with. There's nothing wrong with a man having sex with another man, but they portrayed Abby as a female, and it was just wrong. It was just wrong. So now the Reddit community for The Last of Us Part 2 is voting up a bunch of different posts. So whenever you Google The Last of Us Part 2 Game Awards or The Last of Us Part 2, you're gonna see the sex scene, a picture of the sex scene, which is pretty funny. If you go to images. So, where was I? Okay, let's just that's just, it is what it is, and it's not even like all of that. It's that you play as Ellie and you go and you finally catch up to Abby, who I mean Abby and Ellie, they fought multiple times in the game, but like this is the final fight, right? And they don't even give the player the option to spare Abby or kill her for what she did to Joel. They're just like, so we're gonna just make so Neil's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna make the decision for you, and you're just gonna let Abby go. Right after Abby bites off Ellie's pinky and ring finger, so she can't play the guitar like she could before in the game, and you just let her go, right? So, oh, you know what, you just bit two of my finger off. I'm still gonna let you go, right? And then all of the different people that are playing the game, the streamers and the content creators, are screaming at the screen, and I'm screaming at the screen with them. And I'm like, how the fuck can you do that, right? Like, anyway, it is what it is, man. Like the people that gave 5 stars to the game are just like, oh, everyone that gave it 1 star to the game, they're just salty because Joel died. And it's like, it goes so much deeper into that. They're salty that their favorite character got hurt or died or whatever, and they didn't like the new characters. It's like, it's not even about that. It's about Neil Druckmann is so unimaginative. He had 7 years to come up with a nice and good sequel, and a good way for Joel to die, and a good way for the game to end, the story to end, and he comes up with this dog shit. An NPC has a daughter, and she's gonna kill Joel. Like, since when in a video game have we ever killed a NPC or a unimportant character, or a character that has had maybe 5 minutes on the screen at the most, and then the next game they have a kid or a daughter or a family member that gets revenge on a character that we enjoy in the sequel, right? Never. I mean, it's crazy. If I was making the game, I would just, there's a couple whisperers left, right? And then one of the whisperers kills Joel, something like that, In Halo, the enemy is always the same. In Gears of War, the enemy is always the same. What other story games, right? Watch Dogs, the enemy is always the same. Assassin's Creed, the enemy is always the same. I'm not saying that you had to have the same enemy that we had in the first Last of Us, but come up with something else. Like, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, that's what I wanted to get off my chest. I think it's ridiculous that a game that has so much controversy over it, where it's literally split down the middle, it should not have won Game Awards. A game. Now, okay, so before I talk about this, I'm going to talk about this. So let's get into the nominations for Game of the Year award. Okay, there were 6, including The Last of Us Part 2. So you had a game called Hades, which is a dungeon crawler. It was made by an indie developer. It looks really good, actually. And let's see what the rating is. 4.4. The people that played the game gave it a 4.4 out of 5. Wow, it must be really good. Now, let's go to Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is also a nomination. That got a 4.5 out of 5. Wow, it must be really good, right? Now, I can understand why people didn't want Final Fantasy VII Remake to win Game of the Year award, because it is a remake. So that's understandable. And then you had the game that I wanted to win Game Awards Game of the Year, which was Ghost of Tsushima, which is another PlayStation exclusive, but Last of Us Part 2 is also an exclusive to PlayStation. So you can't really use that argument. Ooh, that got a 4.8 out of 5. That almost got a perfect score, and yet it got no awards at the Game Awards. Like, this game was built from the ground up, and nobody was anticipating this game to come out or anything like that. It's brand new, and it's made by a very small game developer, and so many people are calling for rigged, and Ghost of Tsushima got no justice at the Game Awards, and I agree with them. It's just ridiculous. You know, I didn't play the game, but I saw enough of Ghost of Tsushima. Look at that, 96% of the people that played the game or that left reviews, they liked it. 96 out of 100. That's insane. Like, I mean, I'll tell you why the game is insane. The game is insane because of the realism with, you know, you can slice off people's arms and stuff with a sword, and the graphics are amazing, and the world's amazing, and whatever, man, you know? And then Doom Eternal was also a nomination. You know, you know what Doom Eternal is. And then Animal Crossing was the last one. So literally anything else could have won Game Award, the Game of the Year award, and everybody would have been happy. But of course, guess which game won the Game of the Year award? The Last of Us Part 2. And guess what their rating was? It was a 2.9. A 2.9 out of 5. 58% of people like this video game. And that is the game that won the Game of the Year awards. And you know what this has just solidified? That the Game Awards is rigged. Because guess what probably happens? They don't, you know, you go onto these websites, you even go onto the main website that they suggest that you go to vote for what games you want to win, what awards, and they don't even count them. They don't count those votes. They're like, oh, that's cute. And then they go to Game Informer, they go to GameStop, they go to all these different websites or magazine companies, and they just look at what they say and say, oh, okay, they like the game. Okay, Game of the Year award. So, whatever. That's it. That's all I want to say for this video. Leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. You know, I mean, if you enjoyed the game, Last of Us Part 2, that's fine. But I read a lot of the 5-star responses, and it really just seems like there's a lot of people that they buy story-based games like Last of Us Part 2, and they don't even care about the story. They don't even care about the characters. They only care about the graphics, the gameplay, the voice acting, and they only care about the cinematics. They look really nice. So, I mean, yeah, the gameplay was pretty good. The graphics were amazing. The voice acting was amazing. But the story was shit, and they did no justice for the characters, and they did no justice for the ending. A lot of people don't even think that Last of Us Part 2 exists. They just completely delete it from their memory bank, and it's just, you know, Last of Us, the first one. So, anyways, that's it for this video. That's all I wanted to say, is that the Game Awards is rigged and it's a joke, and yeah. So, leave a like if you enjoyed it. If not, leave a dislike. I have spoken, and have a good one.